We're on live stream now. Tech team on standby. Tech team on standby. Are we able to hear this? People who are logging in, please confirm audio, confirm video, students. Let us have a quick attendance call. Each of you please put up the cities you are from. Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Bhubaneswar, Trivandrum, Cochin, respective cities quickly. Alright, we will wait for these people to come, so because students across the country will be watching now. So let us wait for everyone to come in. We might have slight technical faults are possible, guys. We might have an audio buffering or video buffering. I would ask you to stay calm, not to worry about the speed and everything, because it's just a slight internet faults or internet speeds might be less. Don't worry about that. Alright, for people who have not seen the first set of videos, the January 1 to 15 is covered in a separate video. You can find it, January Current Affairs. This is the part 2 that we are doing. If you look at it, we have a video that already is there. After the session today is over, you can go back and watch it. And if you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me and ask me questions and doubts. Don't worry about that. Please understand that while we will discuss in comprehensive and detailed and quickly the current affairs and GK for the CLAT students, please also note that this is also covered in the Manthan. We have filtered out the Manthan as well. So make sure that you guys listen very carefully to the session and also go back and revise. Right? This will be great in helping you score quite a score out of 50 questions. You might be able to get at least 30 to 40 questions right. Right? While this is being covered, also note that, guys, when the session is being done, your primary aim should be to crack as many questions in GK, in legal, in logical reasoning and in English. I'm not saying maths is completely to be avoided, but always remember we have about 20 questions in maths, so the amount of stress that we give on maths should be less. Unlike the other exams, CLAT has relatively less weightage for maths questions. The new questions who are coming in, the new questions which are coming in will be discussed here, and also people who have just joined in right now, please mark your attendance. People who have just joined in right now, please mark your attendance. Just mention which city you're from. Please call out your friends, guys. Text your friends in your groups, your LST groups, so that people across do not miss the session. Let us have everyone watching this quickly. Let's not go back and have to start the session midway because people have joined in late. Call in all your friends, text your friends across your LST groups, right? Across your bank groups, across your CAT groups, across your civil service groups. It's great to see our students from Jodhpur also join in. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll give off about 5 more minutes for everyone to log in till before we start off the session, and we don't want any disturbance. We will discuss the general guidelines quickly so that we are on the same page in respect of the type of questions you should be looking for, the names that we're supposed to look for, the events, the dates, right? The rankings, indices, all these things. Let's quickly do this, guys. Let's finish off the initial introduction. So for people who are on this for the first time, we ask doubts on the chat only, right? All the chats as much as possible I'll try to cover, but afterwards when we discuss the guidelines, we'll understand what is to be remembered as we watch through the session. All right. We have quite a crowd. We're just waiting for it to reach 200, guys, because we will just start off after that. There are a lot of students who are just finishing their class. Be a little patient. Yes, all of these people. Alright guys, we will now start going live. Welcome to the next session of Career Launchers GK. January Current Affairs. This time we're doing part 2 of that, 15 to 28. Right? General guidelines that we will be looking at. Please look at those guidelines. Be very clear on what are the rules and the regulations that we have. Let's not create any sort of unwanted tensions in the class, because this requires a lot of attention that you have, and we're going to go in a little bit of a speed because we are looking at covering the same topic that you do in class for 4 hours in probably about 1.5 to 2 hours. Right? Now, moving on to general guidelines. Please look at all these things. All impatient people and IPL lovers can leave right now. No diversion or queries except the discussed topics will be entertained in interest of time. Please keep this in mind. No parallel discussions on chats will be allowed. Students indulging in any sort of parallel chats or discussions can please move out, or I will delete your chats and move you out of the class. And last and final, yes, we had a couple of instances where the YouTube sessions we have people swearing. Whatever be the issue, we are here for an educational purpose. I would not allow any sort of swearing or foul words to be used in my class. Alright, moving on guys, I think we have had enough of time and we will start off right now. January current affairs from the career launchers bulletin for the month of the second and the third week, so the third and the fourth week of January. Right, what we are looking at now is first news is Teen Murti Chowk renamed after Haifa. Teen Murti Chowk renamed after Haifa. Now, what is important about this, guys, is Narendra Modi and Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel PM Benjamin Netanyahu and Narendra Modi marked the renaming of Teen Murti Chowk as the Teen Murti Haifa Chowk. Why is it called Teen Murti Chowk to Teen Murti Haifa Chowk? Because this is 100 years, once we pass 100 years after the Haifa fortified city was taken off from Germany, from Austria, Hungary and the powers which held it during the First World War, and Indian soldiers had sacrificed and laid down their lives for this, and such that 3 bronze statues of Mysore Lancers, Jodhpur Lancers and Hyderabad Lancers, who are a part of the 15th Imperial Service Cavalry Brigade, were honored at this place. So please note, guys, Teen Murti Chowk renamed as Teen Murti Haifa Chowk. Where is Haifa? In Israel. Right, 3 bronze statues of Teen Murti. Teen Murti is where the Lancers. Lancers means people who fight with swords. Right, and they were a part of the 15th Imperial Service Cavalry. Cavalry are people who come on horses. And these 3 places were Hyderabad, Jodhpur and Mysore Lancers. Have you all moved on, guys? Have you all understood? We are moving on to the next slide. India and SCO. Please understand, India and SCO. SCO is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is the team that China has made, something similar to what is the NATO by the US. So India, for the first time, it has taken place in a meeting of the International Military Cooperation. All the others are economic and technological cooperation, but this is a military cooperation, just like the NATO that China has started, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India had joined the bloc last year. So having said that, the important thing to understand is that India, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkestan and China in itself, also as a part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and Shanghai Cooperation Organization is headquartered in Beijing. Alright, moving on to the next one, guys. I'm hoping all of us have understood this, right? We'll move on a little faster, and if people are not able to understand, we will go back and discuss it. The next thing is Operation Digital Board. So the central and the state governments have now resolved to join something called as the Operation Digital Board. Now, who is doing it? It is by the Central Advisory Board of Education, not by the NCERT or the CBSE, but the CABE, Central Advisory Board of Education. And Operation Digital Board is on the same lines of Operation Blackboard. Alright, and Blackboard in 1987 was important because the first sort of education came in from Operation Blackboard. And this was started with the purpose of providing minimum basic education. But now that minimum basic education is already provided, now the governments want to provide Operation Digital Board. Right? And then the idea of the Operation Digital Board is aimed at providing better digital education. That means you have smart classes, you have more experiential learning, and you expose students to more digital stuff rather than just the typical blackboard. And this will also help improve the quality of the teachers. So please remember here, Operation Digital Board on the lines of Operation Blackboard 1987. It is started by the CABE, and the central and the state governments have resolved to launch this. Right? And the idea is to provide better digital education, more experiential learning, and more access to technology. Having said this, we move on to the next slide, which is the Barmer Oil Refinery. Now, important guys, Barmer Oil Refinery, they will ask you in which place it is. Remaining part of the fact that Narendra Modi inaugurated it is not very, very important, but the fact that the oil refinery at Pachapadra in Rajasthan's Barmer district. So Barmer Oil Refinery, just in terms of names, guys, there is only factual knowledge here. There's nothing much technical to understand in this, right? Please understand, Barmer oil field is in the Barmer district of Rajasthan. That's all you have to remember. Having moved on, Modi is the first PM to attend Davos. Modi is the first PM to attend the Davos session. Davos is the headquarters of World Economic Forum in Switzerland, and this is exactly the place where Shah Rukh Khan was also honored, right? And also told that the theme of this year would be creating a shared future in a fractured world. So World Economic Forum meeting that happened in Davos in Switzerland, Modi is the first PM to attend this meeting, right? And the first thing to also understand is that every time there is a event that happened, what you have to remember is who conducted the event, what is so special about the event, where is the headquarters of the body that started the event, and also the theme. This is very, very important if you look at any event for that matter. Right? So here the first thing to remember is Modi, the first PM to attend Davos World Economic Forum in Switzerland, and the same place where Shah Rukh Khan was also honored for his contribution in the help of education, culture, and in women empowerment. Moving on from there, guys, is next Saksham project. Saksham is a very, very important thing to understand because there are two Sakshams. One was an initiative started by the Central Board of Indirect Taxes. But having said this, this is Saksham 2018 started by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And this is a vigorous, high-intensity, 1 month long people-centric campaign. Why? They want people to have efficient use of gas and petroleum, and that is why they want to launch this campaign called as Saksham 2018. And keep this in mind, there are two of them. One is run as project by the CBIC, that is Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, but this one is specifically a 1 month long intense campaign run by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. The next one that we will be remembering is Maharashtra. Maharashtra finally offers, minus a state cabinet, is not in the central government. Maharashtra offers 1% special category reservation in education, jobs and social welfare for orphan children in the state. Only in the state, guys, please remember, orphan children in the state, and this is only for children who do not know where their parents are. So it is not for people who know where their parents are and they passed away. This is only for children who do not know their parents or where their distinct kin is. So please remember, Maharashtra, first of its kind, 1% reservation for orphans. No caste, no creed for all the orphans, but specifically to understand this is for education, jobs and social welfare schemes, and also for children who do not know where their parents are. Having said that, guys, we have a next important conference, 10th Berlin Agricultural Ministers Conference. 10th Berlin Agricultural Ministers Conference. So now the 10th Global Forum for Food and Agriculture held in Berlin. So obviously if it is the Berlin Agriculture Ministers Conference, it will be in Berlin. And the theme of this year was Shaping the Future of Livestock Sustainably, Responsibly and Efficiently. 10th Berlin Agricultural Ministers Conference in Berlin, 18th to 20th of January is not so much important, right? But the theme of this event is very important, that shaping the future of livestock, not for agriculture, is also extended to the animal husbandry, where they're saying the future of the livestock is important, where they're looking at shaping its future sustainably, responsibly and efficiently. Right, having said that, the next one is the ISA hosts Future World Energy Summit. So please understand, guys, what do you mean by International Solar Association or Alliance, right? So the International Solar Alliance was something that was formed as an aftermath of the Paris Agreement, right? So India and France together had started this particular organization called as International Solar Alliance. So what happens is, countries between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now, why are these countries chosen? Because these countries get the maximum sunlight. So these countries got together and said, we will align ourselves together and try to do what? We will try to provide more energy, right? And more solar energy, more renewable source of energy, because we are the ones getting the most amount of sunlight. Right, so they hosted a 2-day event, an International Solar Alliance Forum, which happened in 17 to 18 January, right? And this happened in Abu Dhabi. Please remember. So International Solar Alliance, which is an association of all the countries which are in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, right? Why? Because they get the maximum sunlight. And please understand also one more thing, that these countries together have hosted an International Solar Alliance Forum after they were formed in the aftermath of the Paris Agreement, and this is being held in Abu Dhabi because they're celebrating the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. So just remember the place, what is the International Solar Alliance, right? How are the countries that have started it, and what was it started for, and what are the countries involved in it, and why were these countries chosen? Having said that, guys, we move on. 2018 is the year of millets. Year of millets, 2018. Again, a factual question. 2018 is the year of millets. The central government in India has approved 2018 as the year of millets, and especially why do they want to do this? To encourage the production and boost the sunrise agri industry, right? So they want to improve the sunrise agri industry, is why they brought in the year of millets. Year of millets, guys. This year becomes 2018. The government of India has gone for agri industry, and agri industry meaning I am looking for a particular millet. Millet are these crops which are not given too much of importance, and that is exactly why the government wants to promote this, guys. Please understand, every time the government wants to promote some initiative, the particular crop, a particular animal, particular bird, a particular type of species, a particular plant, they will dedicate a year or a decade or a particular day to it, so that people remember this, and there's some sort of a branding that happens. And this is exactly why you see that even certain birds and animals are given the title of national bird and national animals, basically for their conservation, their development and their sustenance across years. Next thing is the MeitY, guys. When you understand MeitY, it is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, right? They have asked for Cyber Surakshit Bharat. Cyber Surakshit Bharat, right? Initiative is an association with the National E-Governance Division. This is not important, guys. The only important thing for you to remember is this. MeitY is one who's hosting the Cyber Surakshit Bharat, and this is the first public-private partnership and will leverage the expertise of the IT industry in the cyber security. Please understand, guys, you have Aadhaar, you have so many things going online, digital payments, Paytm, UPI, BMAP, but please understand the important problem with respect to digital payments or anything going online is the security of the data that you provide. For example, you remember the recent incident that happened with Facebook because it gave off the data to Campaign Analytica. So anybody can share your any type of data when it is online. Having said that, important information, important data of the country, of the government has to be protected by the government and the government agencies. So across the world, government agencies and government organizations have strived to get maximum amount of technological experts to help do what? To help make sure that maximum amount of benefit is given. Right, so the important thing to remember is what? Cyber security and Cyber Surakshit Bharat. This is done by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and this is the first of its kind public-private partnership. That means the government teams up with the private companies, and IT companies like your TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL, Accenture, all of them will let their networking managers or the networking experts work in team with the government to phase out new plans to make sure that the cyber security is in place. Now, having said that, guys, there's this new thing called as Gigabit connectivity with Lanka. So, Ravi Shankar Prasad, who's the Ministry of Law, and he has inaugurated the Gigabit connectivity, and this has happened between the National Knowledge Network of India and the Learn Network of Sri Lanka. So, these people have all formed network companies or network organizations which will share internet, right, and making sure that every place in India is connected, and therefore every place in Sri Lanka is also connected. Mostly this is to connect places like your Gram Panchayats and your villages. Yes, Cyber Surakshit Bharat is a scheme, Swati. It is a scheme that is started off under the Digital India and also to make sure that there is security with respect to the data that is being shared. Right, having said that, the next one is to understand Xi Jinping. That is Xi Jinping. Please understand, this is not Levin Jinping. People are saying, half the people I have students who say, sir, the Prime Minister of, so the President of China is called Levin Jinping. No, he's not called Levin Jinping. It is Xi Jinping, and he has been given the title of Engg, and this Engg is a special status bestowed only upon leaders who have been making a mark or who are iconic leaders. And before this, Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping, who are very, very highly revered state leaders, were the ones who were given this. Right? So, please understand that Engg is a new title given to the President Xi Jinping, and please understand he has also passed a law which helps him win the election once again. So he will continue to be president, right? So the iconic leaders, Mao Zedong, Mao you will know because he is the one who brought up this particular group called as Maoist group. Now, though they are Naxalites, they were actually supposed to work against a corrupt government and bring in changes and help out normal people. They were revolutionaries. Now, having moved, so the Hindu Prize 2017, factual question, guys. Hindu Prize 2017 given to Deepak Unikrishnan. He is a teacher in New York University of Abu Dhabi, which is not important. But the important thing is this novel. This novel, which is called as Temporary People, is a book which was described. What is describing in UAE the migrant workers of India who are suffering there? What is their lifestyle? Of course, you guys have seen this as different movies across different languages. But please understand, this was a book which explained the heart-rending plight of guest workers in UAE. Guest workers means, guys, please understand, whatever happens, he or she who works in the Gulf countries is always treated as a resident or a second citizen. They don't get the kind of benefits that you get when you work in the US or in the UK, right? So you don't get any sort of such kind of benefits. So what happened is that he wrote a book called as Temporary People because they're only there for a certain amount of years, right? And after which you have to come back and they won't give you citizenship. So remember this, the Hindu Prize 2017, Deepak Unikrishnan plus temporary people. And what is that book about? It is our keen insight into the heart-rending plight of guest workers. That means migrant workers like you and I. If we ever go abroad to these countries, how they are treated, what is their lifestyle, what is the kind of money they earn, things like that. Very, very important, guys. This is important in terms of women empowerment. Beno Zephyne, IFS, Indian Foreign Service. Beno Zephyne is the India's first 100% visually impaired person to join the Indian Foreign Service. Right, in 2015 she joined, and this year the president honored her as one of the first ladies in their respective fields. First lady is generally a title given to the president's wife of any country, right? And please understand, the first lady of the world is obviously the first man of the world's wife. First man of the world always considered as Donald Trump or the president of the US, the POTUS. And his wife is considered as the first lady of the world. In respective countries, the first lady of the country is the wife of the president. In this case, he honored a couple of women, right? So that these women's contributions are made note of. So these women became called as the first ladies in their respective fields for the remarkable journey that they have done. Remember, Beno Zephyne, India's first 100% visually impaired person to join Indian Foreign Service in 2015. Shruti Ganesh, the particular slide which was there, of course, I will discuss with you. But please make sure that you ask me after the end of the class, because as of now, I don't realize which is the particular slide we are talking about. Right, so after the class, whatever doubts we have, let us move on so that we, in interest of time, do not keep the others waiting. Next is, I already discussed, I think, with you, Bharat Ke Veer Initiative. Bharat Ke Veer Initiative is actually a fund or a corpus which is going to help the families of paramilitary troops, not the defense troops, guys. Defense troops are Army, Navy, Air Force. Paramilitary are your BSF, your NSG commandos, your ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, right? And your raw agents. These are paramilitary troops, and when they're killed in the line of duty, a fund has been created to help these families, and they are called as Bharat Ke Veer Initiative, right? And an official anthem was also launched, right? The official anthem was sung and composed by singer Kailash Kher, and this particular fund, Bharat Ke Veer, was initiated and inaugurated by Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh and also Bollywood actor Akshay Kumar. Please understand, moving on, we have something called as Nirman Samvad. Nirman Samvad. Now, this is a mega conclave. The only thing you again have to remember here is Nirman Samvad. It is a mega conclave organized by the railways, right? This is a dedicated arm of the Ministry of Railways for fast-track implementation of railway projects. So, please understand that railways were set up by the British back in the days, and they had a separate budget for it. But if you remember in 2017, the budget of India, which is general budget plus the railway budget, were combined together. Having said this, now it is important for the government and the Ministry of Railways to take initiatives to improve and improvise the existing railway conditions and make sure that there is superior travel that is being provided on these rail tracks. Right? So, Nirman Samvad mega conclave, right, by the Ministry of Railways. And what is this for? Fast track implementation of railway projects. Yes, Shivjit, CRPF also comes under the paramilitary troops. Also your CISF comes under the paramilitary troops. So these are not defense forces. These are for the internal security of the country. Moving on. Vajra Prahar, joint military exercise. Vajra Prahar was held in Seattle. Don't have to remember what is the base and all that. In Seattle, it is an Indo-US joint exercise for the army. It is for the army. It's a military, means army, guys. And this is conducted alternatively in India and US. Last time it was in India, and this time it is in US, and it is in Seattle. So how is it done? It is by the India's Army Southern Command, trained along with the US soldiers. Right, so Vajra Prahar is a military exercise, a defense exercise, right, combined with US soldiers, and this is happening in Seattle, please remember, and conducted alternatively in India and in the US. Next is our man Virat Kohli. Indian captain Virat Kohli named as ICC ODI Cricketer of the Year 2017. So ICC ODI Cricketer of the Year 2017. All of you who watch cricket would always know this. And also please remember, he is the only second batsman after Sunil Gavaskar to reach the 900-point mark in the latest ICC player ranking, right, for the test batsman. So please understand two things. One, he was honored as the ICC ODI Cricketer of the Year, and the second thing is he's the second person only behind Sunil Gavaskar to reach the 900-point mark. This is not the runs, this is the number of points that they get with respect to the games that they win. Vajra Prahar Sahiti this time was in Seattle. Moving on, guys, Cancer Seek. Cancer Seek is a very important blood test. It's a diagnostic blood test that has been invented by the scientists. Now what it does, it helps detect the early diagnosis of 8 common cancer types. 8 common cancer types including leukemia, right? And the other types of cancer, prostate cancer that is there, liver cancer, gastric cancer, the cancers that are different, the skin cancer. So the 8 different types of cancer that are there, it helps identify the location of the disease and also diagnose it. And please understand, this test is a non-invasive, meaning it is not by putting in needles or by cutting open the skin, right? It is a non-invasive multi-analyte test. Guys, please understand, scientists from which country was it specifically? It is not there. It is scientists across different countries who have combined together. Only important thing to understand is what is Cancer Seek. It is a single blood test that can help diagnose 8 common types of cancer that help identify the location of the disease. And also you have to know that the test is a non-invasive multi-analyte test. Multi-analyte, basically they analyze across different metrics. Are we clear, guys? Are we clear on this? So we will move on soon. Guys, please don't ask me when the test gets over. Right? It is not important. When the class gets over, it is not important. Moving on, we are talking about kilo power. Kilo power. Right? Please understand kilo power. This is another important science and technology invention that is there. But this is for space travel. And this, what does it do? The kilo power is to help provide safe and plentiful energy for future robotic and human missions. It is like a battery backup, not like a battery backup exactly, but it is a form of a energy backup that you have, because robotic and human missions, when they go to Mars and beyond, they run out of energy because it is quite far. So now this is like a small nuclear reactor, right? Like I told, like a power backup. They can generate a reliable power supply. And who made it? NASA. So the important thing for you to understand is kilo power by NASA. It's a small nuclear reactor to provide safe and plentiful energy for future robotic and human missions. Nagarjun, is Cancer Seek provision available in India? I'm not very sure. It's just a recent introduction to the science and technology that has happened. We will have to go back and see after the class if it is actually available, right? So though Rohit, it has been done by the particular researchers in John Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center. You cannot give it to a particular country because of the fact that there will be researchers across the world who will be working on it. Having said this, China's Wuhai, right? We earlier learned something called a Ruzao. A Ruzao was also a ship, frigate that was there. Please understand, China's Wuhai has launched a new guided missile frigate. Please understand, guys, guided missile frigate is what you see in your Transformers movie, where they shoot the missile or shoot at the person, at a particular place outside on the land. So from here it is a guided missile that is being sent either to a target in the sea, air or on the surface, right? So this is also got stronger anti-submarine capabilities. I'm sure all of us know what submarine capability is. Basically, submarines are underwater to attack all these kinds of ships who are there, and this has strong underwater detection capability which can see if there are submarines coming close to it. Right, so this is a new guided missile frigate. So the different frigates that you know are sometimes aircraft vessels, sometimes there are missile vessels, sometimes they are just commercial civilian vessels, but this is a new guided missile frigate. In January, Subin, Wuhai was launched in January, right, and late December, and in January is when it was launched, right? It is not important when it was launched, guys. It is important to understand which country did it and what exactly is the particular ship for. All you have to remember is it is a ship, new guided missile frigate, and has strong anti-submarine capabilities. Frigate is something like a big ship now, the one that you see in Transformers. Have you seen the movie Transformers? The huge one in which flights come and take off and they have this huge gun on the top from which they fire at enemies abroad, like that. Now what has happened is that first joint estimation of tigers in the Sunderbans. Please understand, Sunderbans is an area which is located across Bangladesh, India, right? It is in that part of West Bengal. Now the number of tigers in India have gone very low. There are only about 28 type of a specific tiger that is there. So now what has happened is India has teamed up with Bangladesh saying, "Arey yaar, you know what, let's combine and check how many tigers are there. Maybe our number of tigers will increase, because if I look at only the kind of tigers that I have, I will have very less." Right? And having said this, Sundarban houses the 5th largest tiger population in the world. And because it is already going through a lot of attacks, killings and accidents through which tigers are dying and the population is going down, right? Sundarbans is the area where they have the 5th largest tiger population. And so what has happened, India and Bangladesh have done a joint estimation of the number of tigers that are there. The first, one more thing, it is a very racist news. I don't even know why it is there. Having said so, for racial discrimination against that, it is a great improvement. Facebook has its first black board member. Don't read as black board member, guys. It is the black board member, right? So Kenneth Chenault, the CEO of American Express, has now moved into Facebook, and now he's become the first African American board member at Facebook. Having said so, guys, moving on, the next important thing for us to understand is Mauritius is the largest source of FDI in India. Right? So Mauritius is the first and the largest source of FDI in India. I told you guys back in the days, or even now also, what you have to remember is that Mauritius is the place where all of India's black money goes. And if Mauritius is the largest source of FDI in India, it is not something for us to be happy about. Right? Please understand that Mauritius is a place where Indian money goes in the form of black money without paying taxes, and it comes back through Mauritius as an investment back into India. Therefore, a lot of issues that happen is because of this, and the government is now trying to sign a double tax avoidance agreement, DTAA. A double tax avoidance agreement is being signed, trying to be signed between the countries like Singapore, Cyprus, Mauritius, so that these kind of economies will not, for their benefit or for their economy to run, push India to accept funds which are actually not being taxed either in India nor in Mauritius. And even in this budget, the government has said that if such kind of money comes in from these countries, they will be taxed in a small amount. Why? Because they want to avoid any sort of black money that comes in. Right? So please remember, the highest source of FDI in India is Mauritius, foreign direct investment. That means Mauritian companies put their money into India. They start off firms, but most likely what happens are these firms are already owned by Indians. The next companies are the countries are US and UK. So Mauritius, US, UK, and then it is Singapore and Japan. Right? So now what has happened is that this is now a concern, though it is happy for us to understand there's a lot of money coming in. You should understand that the money is not being taxed, so therefore we are not at benefit. So Mauritius is the largest source of FDI in India, and then followed by US and UK, and Singapore and Japan are the next two sources of foreign direct investment according to census. Who the census are taken by doesn't matter, guys, it's okay, right? Having said that, guys, next is the Nanaji, Deshmukh, Krishi, Sanjivani Yojna. Please understand, guys, here we can also understand Nana Patekar is an actor that we know, right? And Nana, the name that is there, obviously you should understand is something to do with Maharashtra. People in Maharashtra have that kind of names. So link it to the Maharashtrian government. And Krishi, Sanjivani Yojna. Krishi is again to have what? Agriculture. Sanjivani Yojna is for their promotion. This is to promote climate resilient agriculture. Why is it important? Because it is partially funded by the World Bank. So please remember, Nana Deshmukh Krishi Sanjivani Yojna is by the Maharashtrian government. It is for promoting climate resilient agriculture and is partially funded by the World Bank. I'm sorry, guys, the full screen doesn't work. There's some sort of a tech glitch that happens every time we go full screen. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience that is there. Having moved from that, guys, HDFC crosses the 5 trillion market capital. Now, what do you mean by market capital? Market capital basically means that what is the value of your shares in the market today? For example, your company might be totally having money worth of 500 crores, but in the share market, if one of your share costs 5,000 rupees and you have 1 billion shares, then you have $500 billion as your market capital, right? So similarly, it has now become 5 trillion because of the sentiments of people in the stock market. After Tata Consultancy Services and Reliance Industries, this is the third company to achieve this milestone. Arundhati, regarding why the money is not taxed, we will discuss after the session. Sorry to cut you off like that, right? We will definitely discuss after the session. In the interest of time, we will just push forward. So here again, please remember, HDFC crosses the 5 trillion market cap, right? And this is the third company to achieve this, and these first two companies were Tata Consultancy Services and Reliance Industries, right? And since there are only 3 companies, please understand, Abhijay, please understand the only first bank to do this is HDFC Bank, therefore it has the highest market capital as of now. Moving on, guys, top 100 global technology leaders. So there are top 100 global technology leaders. This index or this ranking is given by Thomson Reuters Corp, and in that it have put Microsoft as number 1, chipmaker Intel Corp as number 2, and also Cisco as number 3. So top 100 global technology leaders, of course, they have put up Microsoft, right, Intel and Cisco. HDFC full form is Housing Development and Finance Corporation. Rima, which information are you not able to see? Are we able to see that HDFC has crossed 5 trillion market capital? It is the third company in India to do this, and this is preceded by 2 companies, which is TCS and RIL, which is Reliance Industries Limited, owned by Mukesh Ambani. Having said so, guys, we move on to the next one. World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum is very important for this year because they had a summit. A lot of important decisions have been made this year, and Narendra Modi became the first PM to go to World Economic Forum summit, and it was held in Davos. And World Economic Forum ranks India 30th on Global Manufacturing Index. Manufacturing Index globally is looked at how easy is it for industries to come and put up their industries to come up and set shop in India, how easy are the licenses, what is the kind of taxes they have to pay, and whatever has become easier for businesses to bring in their manufacturing inside India and not go to other countries. And on that note, India has been put at 30th place, but it's still way behind China, which is at 5th place. So when India looks at the countries which it has formed an association with, there is like the BRICS association: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. When it looks at that, India is above all the other peers but below China, because China is the 5th place, and because they have a communist form of government, the government just decides that poor people should be given an opportunity to work, and therefore this work happens only in the manufacturing sector, right? And the next thing to understand is, please understand, ease of doing business is done by the World Bank, and WEF, World Economic Forum, gives you Global Manufacturing Index. Global Manufacturing Index is only for manufacturing industries, not for generally doing business in India, right? Though the metrics might be almost the same, the metrics are more skewed towards the global manufacturing, right? Different sorts of raw materials that are being used. Please understand that WEF ranks only for manufacturing index. WEF headquarters is in Davos in Switzerland. Davos. Moving on, guys, we look at the new NCDEX chairman. NCDEX chairman, right? It is very important to understand, guys, that everything in the world can be sold and bought. So we know stock exchanges only as places where you can buy the shares of companies, but there are also stock exchanges where you can buy commodities, meaning you can also pitch in for agricultural products, for all sorts of products like gold, silver, right? So what happens is each of these is a separate stock exchange. So what you see, your BSE and your NSE are for buying stocks of companies. So similarly, you have a NCDEX. What is the full form? The NCDEX is National Commodities and Derivatives Exchange. National Commodities and Derivatives Exchange. This is where you can trade even agricultural products. And SEBI is a regulator, because all market regulator, that means anywhere where stocks are traded or anything is traded on the market, is regulated by SEBI for that matter. So SEBI has appointed Vijay Kumar as the managing director and CEO of NCDEX. And this is the country's largest agri-commodity bourse. Bourse basically means exchange, that's it. It's a marketplace where you can trade, just like how you trade for stock or shares of companies. You can buy the shares, you can buy commodities like rice, wheat and other agricultural produce, tomatoes, onions on the stock market. These are not used for cooking at home and eating, guys. Please remember this. These are just like your shares. People just buy it and keep, and they just hold them till they can sell it for a better price. Moving on, guys, we will look at the highest MSMEs in India, and West Bengal tops as a state having the highest number of MSMEs. MSMEs is micro, small, medium enterprises. So all the small industries, small places where people have started some sort of trade, such kind of companies are the highest in the state of West Bengal. Right? How many units are there is not important for us, and this is important because it will boost the state during the Bengal Global Business Summit, right? So please remember, the Global Business Summit and all is not important. The only thing to understand is the state with the highest number of MSMEs is West Bengal. That's all you have to remember. And having said this, guys, the next news again about West Bengal, because they are developing themselves in small industries, is currently topped on the list of DIPP. So DIPP, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. Please understand, this is a department under the Ministry of Commerce, which will decide what is the amount of industrial development that is happening, what are the kind of indices that should be measured to see the health of a company, things like that, right? And this business reforms action plan comprised of 36 states and union territories, and West Bengal topped it, right? Why? Combined together, you have how many states? 29 states, and you have 6 union territories. All that put together, Important thing to understand is that Bengal's scorecard and Jharkhand's scorecard is the same in the east state, and second state that came up is Gujarat at 82.38%. So it's not very important for us to understand what all these things are. Only to understand is that which state topped, right? That is the important thing to understand. Business Reforms Action Plan is some sort of a plan that all these organizations make because they want to see in the next 5 to 10 years, what are we going to focus on? How do we improve the targets? How do we improve the metrics and make sure the development happens, right? If you have to say that India is the fourth largest economy, the first largest economy, there are multiple metrics that you have to move, right? The amount of taxes that you collect, the amount of industries that are there, the amount of goods and services that are sold. So all these by different ministries are taken care of and made sure that each metric moves up and overall the health of the country increases. Are we able to understand? I will just put this heading here, guys, because it's very important for us to remember the name of this heading, right? The name of this heading is Geo-Parsi scheme. So because of the declining population of the Parsi community, the government has started something called as Geo-Parsi scheme, right? So where they're saying that 130 babies born since the government launched the Geo-Parsi scheme has been addressed because why? Very simple. The Parsi community is declining population. Either they get married to other communities or they move out of the country, right? So the important thing to understand is it is not the government which is implementing this particular scheme. It is the ex-government, that is the UPA government, Sonia Gandhi's government, which had formed something called as the Parsar Foundation. The Parsar Foundation, they are the one implementing the scheme and they are doing it currently with the Union Minority Affairs Ministry. Important thing to understand is Geo-Parsi scheme, the Parsar Foundation. Why is it Geo-Parsi? Because of the declining population of the Parsi community. The Parsar Foundation was formed by whom? Narendra Modi government? No, it was formed by the UPA government, the Sonia Gandhi government, and now they have teamed up with the Union Minority Affairs Ministry. Right, the next one being S for Triumph Missile Shield deal. So India has signed the biggest deal with Russia, right? 5 advanced S-400 Triumph air defense missile systems, right? Air defense missile systems are different machinery that and flights that can actually deliver missiles of nuclear capability. So India has done contract negotiations with Russia. Is with Russia. Please understand, S-400 Triumph missile deal is with Russia. India, S-400 Triumph missile shield deal. UPA is Union Progressive Alliance, just like how the government currently is NDA, which is National Democratic Alliance. It is how the government forms alliances with other small governments to finally make up the government, right? So the parties form an alliance, and that's why it is called UPA. Moving on, guys, zero budget natural farming, The Andhra Pradesh government is planning to scale up the zero budget natural farming. Please understand, what does this mean? Natural farming means it is not the same as organic farming. Organic farming uses organic manures and organic fertilizers. But please understand, in natural farming, you don't use any form of fertilizers. You just use cow dung and cow urine. And zero budget means that no amount of money has to be spent in getting any sort of fertilizers or specific types of seeds. You go with the most natural form of farming and try to bring down the pollution, which is reducing also the lack of fertility in the soil. Right. So now what has happened? The Andhra Pradesh government has partnered with a particular organization, not important. But the important part is that Karnataka and Himachal Pradesh are the other states which have actually done zero budget natural farming as well. Moving on, guys. Moving on, we go to the Gudiya Shakti Hoshiar in Himachal Pradesh. So these are online portals, helpline numbers and apps that have been developed for protection of women and girl child in light of the recent heinous crimes, the heartless crimes done against women. Himachal Pradesh, because of an earlier incident which happened in November, December, they launched the 24/7 Gudia helpline, right? And this is designed by the National Informatics Center. Please understand, National Informatics Center is like the tech company of India. Anything that India requires in terms of technology, app or whatever is made by the National Informatics Center, right? For quick police responses in case of crimes against women, that is the helpline number that is there called Gudia. Shakti button is a mobile app linked to the police control room. So anytime you download the app, you will be able to press that particular button in case you are in danger, and it will send a particular alert to the police that is there. In case of Tamil Nadu, they have an app called as Kavalan, Kavalan. You should download and check it, guys. You can link all your cameras to that particular app and also the nearest police station. It will send a live feed of whatever crime is happening. But this is specifically for women. Kavalan app of Tamil Nadu is for all people. And Hoshiar Singh is another name that is there. It's a helpline or a toll-free number that is there. Where number is 1090. Yes, Karthik, is natural zero budgeting farming is done by cow dung and cow urine. Now coming soon, India's longest, guys, they have asked this in CLAT before about the longest tunnel and all that. So please remember, India's longest road tunnel and the longest bi-directional tunnel, that is two-way tunnel in Asia, is going to come up in Jammu and Kashmir. It is called the Zojila tunnel and it is 14,150 kilometers, not 14 point, it is 14,150 kilometers. So please remember, India's longest road tunnel and longest bi-directional tunnel in Asia, Zojila tunnel, Jammu and Kashmir, and the length is 14,150. Why have I marked this particular news in red? Please understand, guys, when a particular index is given, I would appreciate it if it is given by a non-biased agency. But here, the Union Minister for Agriculture, Sri Radha Mohan Singh, by himself claimed that India leads coconut production in the world, right? And while he was inaugurating, just to make a particular comment, this has come out as news, but I would still suggest that, guys, this would not hold true unless it is confirmed by an unbiased world organization. Because when you say that India leads world production in coconut, there has to be coming in from a unbiased world report. Swati, can we quickly just refresh your feed? You will be able to get the slide because I feel that the other people are able to see. Sorry for the trouble. Moving on, guys, India hosts ISA. I already discussed this with you. International Solar Alliance, right? We have one summit that happens in Abu Dhabi, but the actual first summit of the International Solar Alliance will be held in India, right, in March. So now what I told you, in 2016, in the light of the Paris Agreement that was brought up, India and France jointly envisioned something called as an International Solar Alliance. And this had countries from where? Countries in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Why? Because these have the maximum amount of sunlight and they can use that sunlight in a sustainable way to create energy, heat, power, whatever. Correct? So this was in light of and this was India's initiative, and India will host the first summit of this in March. And obviously this should be in Delhi. Now, also important to remember, guys, just like we have, what do you mean by the Federal Reserve? Federal Reserve is like a Reserve Bank of India. So, very, very important position because they have the biggest control on the economy. US Federal Reserve Chairman has been appointed. So, please remember, Jerome H. Powell. It's very, very important. Jerome H. Powell will be the next chairman of the US Federal Reserve. And what is US Federal Reserve? Equivalent to our RBI. Also also remember guys, India and Vietnam have the first ever commemorative stamps. India and Vietnam have commemorative stamps just to show bilateral relations. Please remember, the two stamps will carry the picture of the Sanchi Stupa and the Tien Mu Pagoda. The Tien Mu Pagoda and the Sanchi Stupa, because they have taken historical importance and they have looked for two very iconic monuments. So India and Vietnam will have commemorative stamps. Moving on guys, the World Economic Forum. This year the World Economic Forum is very important guys, because a lot of news that is coming up, especially in the month of January. You can expect 1 or 2 questions based on that. The World Economic Forum, GTC, that is the Global Talent Competitiveness Ranking. Global talent, that means across the world, what is the amount of talent that Indians have in terms of different skills. Let's say it is in terms of the technical skills, it is in terms of educational skills, medical skills, in terms of law, in terms of any sort of such skills. What is the employability or the talent that Indians have, and how much is useful to the world? In terms of that, India's rank has improved from 81 from where it was last year to 92, right? So earlier it was 92, now it become 81, right? And what do they see? How much do the countries grow, attract and retain talent? So only then, once we have the ranking, do we understand that what new education institutions, what new colleges, what new skills have to be developed in our people, so that when they go and compete in the global environment, they are able to hold equal standards with the people across the world. Right. Also, one more thing is guys, Switzerland is the top of the world list. So now what will you remember? Global Talent Competitiveness Index, in which what is going to happen? India is on rank number 81 from where it is at 92. Switzerland is on rank number 1. And this is released every day on the first day of the World Economic Forum annual meeting. Guys, please tell me, where is the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum held this year? Quickly type in your answer. Quickly type in your answer. Where is the World Economic Forum meeting held? Brilliant guys, brilliant. It's in Davos. Every year it is held in Davos. It doesn't change. Which Indian actor was honored at the World Economic Forum? Shreya Shetty. Davos is the headquarters, the place in Switzerland. Good job guys, good job. Thank you so much for the answer. Let's move on to the next slide guys. Very important guys, wealth report. Remember this, Oxfam is a international organization, independent NGO, which releases an wealth report, and said that India's richest 1% corners 73% of the wealth generated. 73% of India's wealth is with the richest 1%. Please remember this. And also the worst part is that 67 crore Indians saw their wealth rise only by 1%, right? 67 crore Indians saw their wealth rise only by 1%. So while 1% of the richest Indians own 73% of the wealth generated in India, right? This shows the economic growth. Even though we are a developing country and the money is coming in, please remember the richest people are getting rich and the poorest people, does nothing change happen. So there is no holistic and development happening. Right? What's the point if half or more than half your people are poor, and not even more than half? Imagine this guys, 1% is holding 73% of the wealth. It is not double, triple, it is 73 times. So please remember, wealth report is by Oxfam, and which India's richest 1% holds 73. 1:73 ratio. This is an extension of what had brought us the 20-80 ratio, where they said that 20% of the people hold 80% of the world's wealth, but in that 1% of the Indians hold 73% of India's wealth generated. Next one to remember is Bloomberg. Bloomberg, guys, please understand, is a financial rating agency, right? They have ratings and they also give advice, and they also run credit rating on what company is doing well, what company is doing bad, which company has done well during IPO. They always regulate and they opinionate companies. They give credit rating to companies, and please understand, 100 companies in 10 sectors. Remember, 100 companies in 10 sectors in 24 countries are there in the Bloomberg's gender equality ratio, and in that only one Indian company came in, and that was Dr. Reddy's Lab, and only one company was listed for gender equality. And please understand, Dr. Reddy's Lab is the only healthcare company in the world, not in the world, in the Asia Pacific region. APAC is the Asia Pacific region, right? Please understand that among the countries in the Asia Pacific region who are into health care, Dr. Reddy's Lab is the only one have gender equality index, and they have made it into the list. Next is the ILO. The ILO is again a UN agency, guys, and as of its headquarters, it is in Geneva, just like most of the UN headquarters, right? And having said this, they have revised the unemployment rate in India to 3.5 for both 2017 and 18. They had projected 3.4, but they are like, no, I don't think so. That is happening. 3.5% of the Indians are still unemployed. Right? So please understand, ILO, important headquarters is Geneva. It is a UN agency. It is not an independent agency. The unemployment rate they are projected for India is 3.5. What they projected earlier was 3.4. Please guys remember this, and also once you're finished with the session, I want you guys to finish your dinner, quickly go back and take your month end and solve the last 2 weeks of month end for January. You'll be able to answer most of the questions. So please make sure that you guys mark most of the answers. Once you finish your dinner, quickly finish off month end. There will be about 50 questions maximum. You can finish off those questions in less than 20 minutes because you will know the answers exactly. And this kind of a revision will help us do what? This will help us make sure that whatever we have learned, we have retained. Having said that, guys, very, very important. I discussed this in my budget session. Indra Dhanush reloaded. So the union government announced the details of rupees 2.1 lakh crore recapitalization. What does this mean? Banks have given loans to people like Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi. They lost that money. But if the banks do not get the money from somewhere, what's going to happen is when people ask for the deposits, they'll have to shut down. So to take care of these banks and make sure these banks are still running, specifically the public sector banks as the government banks, the government has introduced recapitalization plans. That means they will infuse money. They will take the tax money, what you get from GST or from other taxes, and they will combine this together and they'll put it into different banks. Even after giving this 2.1 lakh crores, they are not going to complete the debt that this banks have made because they have given a lot of loans which they are not able to retrieve, and in this case they have gone into bad debts and they've lost all that money. Right? And having said this, guys, now that they're giving these packages, they'll also give rules and regulations as to how the bank should function. Right? So the important thing is that they will go for customer responsiveness, responsible banking, and increasing credit offtake. Right? So please understand, one thing is that the banks go crazy and they give loans out to people. Loans are also called as credit. So increasing credit offtake will also mean that these people have to be more responsible and go through a lot of customer, know your customer schemes, take details of them and make sure that the loans are paid within a particular period of time. Right? So these reforms will be included if Indra Dhanush scheme is done, and this Having said this, guys, the next thing is to understand again World Economic Forum. Very, very important. The World Economic Forum has partnered with the most valued firm in India, Reliance Industries. And what have they done? They have put the center for the fourth industrial revolution. So they put it across different places. Now the center for the fourth industrial revolution has been made in Mumbai. Why is it there? Mainly because they want to promote all sort of industries that are there, have people bring up their industries and invest into India, and it's the first the Center for Industrial Revolution which is opened outside the Silicon Valley at San Francisco. Right, so a couple of things to remember. Silicon Valley is at San Francisco. First three Center for Industrial Revolution was done by the World Economic Forum in the Silicon Valley. The fourth one is in Mumbai, and they have teamed up with the Reliance Industries. And in this case, you can also promote Modi's Digital India, Startup India and all that, but that is not what is important. Well, Raghunandan, recapitalization comes from your own money, bete. You give GST, you give all sort of other taxes. They will take that money and put it back into the government. Sorry, into the banks. Please understand, Indradhanush scheme is of 4 types, guys. Indradhanush is there for banks, Indradhanush is there for vaccination, Indradhanush is there for ISRO, and Indradhanush I think is there for one more scheme. I'm not able to remember, but these 3 are definitely there. The same name has been given for 3 different schemes. Next thing is Usha A. Usha A, the first woman chairman of Indian Bank Association. First woman chairperson of Indian Bank Association. She is the chairperson and the managing director of the Allahabad Bank. Usha Ananta Subramaniam is the managing director of Allahabad Bank, and now she is the first woman chairman of the IBA. Right, we are almost about to finish, guys. So please hold on. Don't lose flow of it. We just have about a couple more slides, right, and we are about to finish. And once we finish revising, if you do it one more time, guys, trust me, you will be able to crack out your questions, right? Please also give me at this point of time who is the MD and CEO of ICICI Bank quickly. I'm waiting for an answer, guys. Quickly give me who is the CEO and MD of ICICI Bank, and also who is the chairperson of SBI. The 2 are also women. Please mark in the options right now quickly. Good job, guys. Good job on the answers. Also give me the MD of SBI. Akshara is not Arundhati Roy, it is Arundhati Bhattacharya. Arundhati Bhattacharya is not Arundhati Roy. Chanda Kochar and Arundhati Bhattacharya. Guys, I am asking, yes, currently it is Rajneesh Kumar. Yes, I am asking for the woman. I am asking for the woman who was last year. Please note, guys, while I have asked you this question of Arundhati Bhattacharya, the current chairman is Rajneesh, right? The current chairman is Rajneesh Kumar. right? The lady was Arundhati Bhattacharya. Alright, important guys, Aussies, US and the Nuna, why I have put that is they said that Australia and a similar part of US, a chunk of Australia was actually a part of America 1.7 billion years ago, because they were all a part of a super planet or a super body that was there, right? And there was a billion-year-old supercontinent called as Nuna. Don't confuse yourself for the super planet or the supercontinent called as Pangea, right? Amrit, we are discussing about who was the lady chairman of SBI. Of course, as you said correctly, Rajneesh Kumar is the current chairman. Guys, Shreya Pangea, Pangea, is the supercontinent that was there which finally broke off and then became the different continents. Moving on guys, quickly, in interest of time, we'll just finish off, right? So, important guys, Vijaya. Vijaya is a ship, an offshore patrol vessel guys. Vessel, frigate and all are basically ships of different types, of different capacities, and this is the second offshore patrol vessel. Vijaya has been made by Larsen and Toubro. This is the first or the second time actually that a private company is making a government ship. Generally it is a government organization which makes it, right? Swati, Nuna is also a supercontinent that was existent at some point of time, as these theories have been suggesting, and they said that Australia and US were actually connected together. Coming back on Vijaya guys, Vijaya is the second offshore patrol vessel that is made by Larsen and Toubro, and this is made for the Indian Coast Guard. They are also paramilitary forces. Indian Coast Guard is also paramilitary forces. They protect the territory, only the territorial waters. Now the first OPV, which is the offshore patrol vessel, was the defense craft to be built, and that was made in October 2017, right? So generally it is done by the government organizations, but these two were done by a private organization. Currently the one that is there is the second one, it is made by L&T. Next, having said guys, Saras, the first of India. So Saras, recently, why did it come up in news? It is because of Saras, or whatever you want to call it, is a prototype of Saras, was the first country's developed civil aeroplane. So inside India, the first aeroplane that was developed was called as Saras or Saras, right? And was designed by National Aerospace Laboratories. A prototype of that is currently flown, just to mark the importance of the remembrance of a first civil flight. Alright guys, I hope all of us have taken all these notes down. Alright guys, having said that, let's move on to the next slide. Sports in shorts, very important, because we have to cover up the important sports. Kieron Pollard, all of us have heard of this name. Kieron Pollard is a West Indies cricketer, and he's become the first ever cricketer to have played 400 T20 matches. 400 T20 matches played by this particular cricketer from West Indies called as Kieron Pollard. He became the first cricketer to have played 400 T20 matches. And having said that guys, West Indies will host 2018 ICC Women's World 2020. right? It's for women. Please understand, it is not men's, it is Women's World 2020, right? For people who are not able to see the slides or anything, please refresh, guys. I quickly again tell you, please refresh again and again. Right, having said that, the next one is Vijender Singh. The boxing star Vijender Singh has raised 4 ranks to 6th position. So he was in the 10th position. Now he's moved to the 6th position in the latest World Boxing Organization rankings. World Boxing Organization rankings, he's moved to the 6th position. Right, so quickly in sports, what did we discuss, guys? Who was the first cricketer to cross 900 runs just behind Sunil Gavaskar? Now 900 runs, 900 points. Let's quickly get an answer. Definitely, Tanmay, we will discuss the Nuna and the Pangea and how Australia is a part of US. Beautiful answer, guys. Thank you so much. Right, now again coming back, guys, trivia of India, very important 4 news, guys, very important 4 news. Having said this, Oxford Dictionary have chosen Aadhar as the Hindi word of the year for 2017. Oxford Dictionaries have chosen Aadhar as the Hindi word of the year 2017. Please look for the word, guys, Aadhar. Having said that, guys, S. Somnath has taken charge as a new director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, S. Somnath has taken charge as a new director. You will have to by heart these names, guys. Okay, having said that, election commissioner, the new election commissioner, chief election commissioner is Om Prakash Rawat. Om Prakash Rawat is a new election commissioner, chief election commissioner, guys. So there are 3 election commissioners and actually 4, and one of them automatically becomes a chief election commissioner. So in turn, what has happened is that Om Prakash Rawat has become the new chief election commissioner. Having said that, guys, for this year's Republic Day, 85 Padma awards was given, 3 Padma Vibhushan, 9 Padma Bhushans and 73 Padma Shris, right? So we don't have to know the people who have got it. Dhoni had got it as well, Padma Bhushan, but we are looking at 85 Padma awards, so 3 Padma Vibhushan, 9 Bhushan and 73 Padma Shri awards. Yes, Ilayaraja had got this year's Padma Vibhushan. Padma Shri is for excellence in any field, Padma Bhushan is for excellence in a particular field, and Padma Vibhushan is an outstanding achievement in any field for that matter. Ganavi, Naseem Zaidi was the old chief election commissioner, after which we had another commissioner as well, somebody with a Rao. I'm not very clear on the name. Naseem Zaidi was the one before the current one. Yes, Achal Kumar Jyoti. Jyoti was replaced by Om Prakash Rawat. Not Rao, it is Achal Kumar Jyoti. Jyoti was replaced by Om Prakash Rawat. Having said that, guys, Google's Lunar X. So Google had launched this competition called as Lunar X, where it wanted to promote space exploration among people, and the award was announced in 2007. They wanted to start and they gave about 10 years, but after 10 years they say that nobody had brought in any specific improvement or improvisation or invention or innovation with respect to space exploration. And as of now, the prize has not been given to anybody. The competition ended in 2017. People who wait, I'll tell you the shortcuts to learn your GK, guys. There's a specific pattern. I'm sure your teachers will also have told you this. We are done with the session, but please understand, guys, the shortcut to learn GK is that CLAT exam asks you GK only from the month of September up till April. Specifically, the highest number of questions asked is from the months of December up till March. So the maximum stress we will give is for December, January, February, March. And then you learn your April and then your September, October, November. Yes, Swati, the budget is important. Rohit, about slide 53 onwards, we will do from the next this one. Yes, I had not missed it, but I had given it to you thinking you guys will read it because we are short of time. But Rohit, we will make sure in the next class we will discuss it before we take up the next month. Right, and also guys, if you like the session today, please go and like it and comment it, not on the chat. Go to the video and like it so that we understand that, you know, this many people have liked it. And if you thought you had some inputs, please mark as comments so that we will be able to understand very clearly. And for any doubts, please ping me on the number that you see on the particular screen. Right, please make sure that you ping me on the particular number. Don't try calling me because there will be a lot of calls and it will be a little difficult for me to handle all that. No, they will not test you on 1 year worth of current affairs. The CLAT pattern is from last September up till this April, maybe 1 or 2 questions in May. Thank you so much for tuning into Career Launchers channel, guys, for the GK session. We will update you on the next session very soon. We will be doing February current affairs. Please log in. Make sure you guys don't miss the session. My name is Bibin George Varghese and I take sessions for GK. I teach economics for civil service and also legal reasoning and GK for the law students. Please make sure you like the video that is there, guys. If you have been interested in the session, do not forget to like the video and also post your comments on it. Guys, for January current affairs part 1, the video is there on the channel. You can just go and click on it and you can watch it. The same channel has got the video for the January current affairs. Thank you so much. I think I've taken a lot of your time. It has been great having you guys. Thank you for being patient. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Ping me on WhatsApp or we will discuss it offline. Thank you so much for the sessions. Yes, we will have sessions for February, March and December as well. And also for April and September after that. Yes, Rajeshwaran, I will send you the slides. Which center are you from? I will send it to your team and they will send it to you. Yes, you can watch the video offline, Vedasri. Thank you so much. Good night, guys. I will see you soon. Cheers. Right after the session, quickly guys, please go and solve your month end on your respective SIS accounts. Please make sure you like the video guys. We're closing off the stream now.